When 12-year-old Kim Carter found herself facing a terminal illness, her family fought to fulfill her final wish. They managed to reach her hero, Keanu Reeves, and watched in awe as he visited her, embracing her at her hospital bedside. The reason behind Kim's request is deeply moving. Kim's life changed suddenly when she began experiencing unusual fatigue and pain in her bones. Initially, her parents, Annabelle and Mark, believed it was simply growing pains or school and sports-related exhaustion. However, as her symptoms persisted, they took her to the doctor. After numerous tests, they received heartbreaking news: Kim had been diagnosed with a rare and aggressive leukemia. While her parents were devastated, Kim chose to remain hopeful and determined to fight her illness. Months of intense chemotherapy became routine, hospital stays frequent, and her once vibrant energy began to fade. But through it all, Kim never let go of her dreams or her love of life. An unexpected source gave her strength during these dark times: Keanu Reeves. She had always admired his movies, but after her diagnosis, something in his quiet resilience and kindness in interviews resonated deeply with her. "He's been through so much but stays kind to everyone," she would say, as she and her family watched his films. For Kim, Keanu wasn't just a celebrity, he became a symbol of strength. She saw herself reflected in him, both fighters, pushing through their pain. Yet, as her condition worsened, regular activities like school and playing with friends became impossible, and she spent most of her time in her hospital room. Still, Kim clung to the hope and perseverance she found in Keanu's life and movies. As her treatment stopped working effectively, Kim's doctors told her family that the leukemia had spread, and the chances of recovery were slim. Even then, Kim faced the news with remarkable bravery, spending her days comforting her parents. Her only request was simple: she wanted to meet Keanu Reeves, the person whose strength had been a beacon of hope for her. Desperate to grant Kim's wish, Annabelle reached out to friends, shared Kim's story on social media, and contacted anyone who might reach Keanu. One day, as he scrolled through messages, Keanu saw an email from his publicist about Kim's story, which had gone viral. Deeply moved, Keanu read every detail, learning how his movies and interviews had been a source of inspiration for Kim. Keanu, no stranger to loss himself, didn't hesitate. He asked his team to contact Kim's family, uninterested in any publicity, focused solely on bringing some joy to a girl who had drawn strength from him. The call confirming Keanu's visit left Annabelle in disbelief, and when she told Kim, the young girl's face lit up with joy for the first time in months. On the day of his visit, Kim lay in her bed, her frail body covered by a blanket, but her eyes sparkling with excitement. Keanu Reeves was coming to see her. Her hero, a person she had long admired. In that moment, her pain seemed to disappear, replaced by the pure joy of seeing someone who had unknowingly supported her through her darkest days. She hadn't slept the night before, not due to pain or discomfort, but because she knew that today she would meet her hero. Down the hallway, Keanu Reeves was accompanied by a nurse and a hospital staff member. He had requested that the visit be kept private. This wasn't about promoting a film or grabbing headlines. It was about granting the wish of a young girl who had found strength in his work and story. Keanu was used to meeting fans, but this moment felt different. It wasn't about fame, it was about a meaningful connection. As he approached her room, he felt his heart beat a little faster. The weight of the moment wasn't about his own celebrity, it was about who Kim was. He had read about her courage, her unbreakable spirit facing an unimaginable battle. She was more than just a fan, she was a young soul who had experienced life well beyond her years. He felt honored to be there. The nurse softly knocked on the door before opening it, then stepped aside for Keanu to enter. Annabelle looked up, feeling a sense of disbelief. The one and only Keanu Reeves, whom Kim had only seen on screen or in interviews, was now standing before her, calm and humble, just as she had always described him. "Hi, Kim," he said quietly, approaching her bed. Kim's eyes filled with joyful tears as she looked up at him. She had envisioned this moment countless times, but now that it was real, it was even more special than she'd imagined. "You came," she whispered. Keanu knelt by her bedside, taking her hand gently. "Of course I did," he replied softly, giving her hand a gentle squeeze. "How are you feeling today?" he asked. Kim smiled through her tears. "I'm okay," she said, though her frail body told another story. She looked pale, and her breathing was labored, yet she felt more alive in that moment than she had in months. "I've watched your movies so many times," she said. "They helped me through some really tough days." Keanu's eyes sparkled with emotion. "I'm honored to hear that," he replied. "I've heard a lot about you, too. You're a fighter, Kim. You've been through so much and stayed so strong." They talked for a while. Kim shared her love for animals and dreams of becoming a veterinarian. Keanu listened intently, seeing a light in her eyes that shone despite the toll her illness had taken. Her spirit was vibrant, and it touched him deeply. At one point, Annabelle stepped out of the room to give them privacy. Watching from the hallway, she could see the kindness in Keanu's voice as he continued talking with her daughter. Inside, Keanu asked Kim about her favorite movie of his. "The Matrix," she answered without hesitation. "I love how Neo never gives up, even when everything's against him." She paused. "That's how I've felt sometimes, like everything is against me." Keanu nodded. "You know," he said gently, "Neo doesn't just fight for himself. He fights for the people he loves. That's where his strength comes from, and I see that in you, Kim. You're strong because you love your family, and they love you." Kim looked down, her eyes filling with tears again. "I just didn't want to leave them too soon," she said softly. Keanu reached out, placing a gentle hand on her arm. "You've given them more than you know," he assured her. "Your strength, your courage, they'll carry that with them forever, and you'll always be in their hearts." The room grew quiet as Kim took in his words. Keanu's calm, compassionate presence made her feel at peace. She had faced so much fear, so much uncertainty, but in this moment, she felt safe. The only sounds in the room were the soft beeps of the machines monitoring her vitals. Annabelle held a tissue, knowing this visit might be one of her daughter's last happy moments. Nurses hovered in the background, moved by the scene but careful not to intrude on the gentle atmosphere. Finally, as their conversation came to a natural close, Keanu knelt beside Kim's bed. Slowly, he leaned forward, and Kim raised her small, fragile arms to embrace him as best she could. In that single hug, a profound wave of emotion passed between them. Keanu held her close, gently but firmly, letting her feel his warmth and strength. Kim closed her eyes, resting her face softly on his shoulder, and, for the first time in days, she looked at peace. That it wasn't just any hug, it was a hug from someone Kim had deeply admired, someone who, without even knowing, had helped her through the toughest times in her young life. For Annabelle, it was more than she could have ever hoped for. She wiped her tears, her heart aching yet swelling with gratitude. Keanu leaned in and whispered something softly into Kim's ear, too gentle for anyone else to hear, but whatever he said brought a faint smile to her lips, and she held him just a bit tighter. Though her body was frail, her spirit in that moment was strong. She had shown such bravery through so much pain. Now, in this embrace, she found a sense of peace. Keanu pulled back just slightly, just enough to look into her face. Kim opened her eyes, meeting his gaze, and there was an understanding between them that needed no words. Everyone in the room could feel it. This was more than a simple gesture of comfort, it was a symbol of everything Kim had fought so hard for. She had dreamed of this moment, of meeting the person who had unknowingly been her source of strength, and now, held in his arms, she could release the fears and anxieties that had haunted her for so long. After Keanu's visit, as Kim lay quietly in her hospital bed, a peaceful stillness filled the room. Annabelle sat beside her, gently holding her daughter's hand, her heart heavy with the knowledge that time was slipping away, yet calmed by a strange sense of peace. Kim's final wish had been fulfilled, and it meant more than anyone could have imagined. For months, she had held on to the hope of meeting Keanu Reeves, but the wish went far deeper than simple admiration for a famous actor. It wasn't just about being a fan of his movies. For Kim, Keanu symbolized something profoundly meaningful, a quiet strength and an understanding of life's hardships that she had connected with ever since learning about his personal story. When Kim first expressed her wish to meet Keanu, her mother hadn't fully understood why, but after witnessing the peace in her daughter's eyes during the visit, Annabelle finally grasped it. It wasn't about fame or celebrity, it was about finding a kindred spirit. Kim wanted to meet someone who had journeyed through the darkest valleys of grief and emerged with a heart still full of compassion. In her final days, she needed that connection, to know she wasn't alone in her suffering. Kim had often wondered what would happen after she passed. She'd asked her mother if she would still be remembered, if she'd still be present in some way. Keanu's presence, and his words on love and loss, gave her the answer she'd been searching for. The people we love never truly leave us, Keanu had told her during their conversation. They stay with us in the things we do and the love we share with others. His words echoed in Kim's heart long after the visit ended. She found the peace and reassurance she needed, that she would not be forgotten, and that her love and spirit would live on in the hearts of those who knew her. For Keanu, meeting Kim wasn't just about meeting a fan, it was about connecting with someone whose courage touched his heart. Close friends noticed a quiet change in him after that day. He shared with those nearest to him how much that little girl's wish to meet him wasn't about fame or movies but about shared experience and understanding. The hug he gave Kim wasn't just a gesture, it reflected the compassion he felt for a young girl whose bravery had inspired him. For Kim's family, Keanu's kindness became a source of comfort. His visit brought her peace in her final days. Do you have a story about how a special person made someone's passing easier? Share it with us in the comments, we'd love to hear. For now, we're signing off, catch you in the next video.